The most dangerous weapon you will ever own is invisible. It's not in your hands, it's not in your voice, it's not even in your looks. It lives inside you, like a current of electricity, and once a woman feels it, she cannot unfeel it. Most men think attraction is about saying the right words or having the perfect body, but they forget human desire is wired in the mind before it ever reaches the body. Women are not drawn to just what they see, they are drawn to what they sense. Your presence, your energy, your unshakable self-command. This secret energy is born when you stop chasing approval and start radiating the quiet confidence of a man who already knows his worth. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You listen more, but your eyes tell her you see her deeper than anyone else has. You create space, yet your absence is felt louder than another man's presence. Why? Because you are no longer asking for her attention, you are choosing where to give yours. That is the shift from a man she notices to a man she obsesses over. Think about it. We desire what we cannot completely predict. We chase what feels rare, what feels earned. When you anchor yourself in purpose, when you live with discipline, when you treat your own time like it's gold, you become the storm she can't control but can't walk away from. And here's the truth, no one tells you. This energy is not a trick, it's not a performance. It's who you become when you decide that your value is non-negotiable. That is when every word, every movement, every silence hits her deeper than 1,000 compliments ever could. So here sits your move. Stop broadcasting need, start broadcasting certainty. Build the life that makes you magnetic before anyone else arrives to see it. Master yourself first, and the rest will follow. Because the moment you own this secret energy, she wants to just want you. She'll feel you everywhere she goes. The first thing a woman feels from you is not your words, not your smile, and not even your touch. It's your presence, that silent, invisible gravity that makes her head turn, her breathing slow, and her thoughts wander toward you without her even realizing it. Presence is not about being the loudest man in the room, it's about being the one she can't ignore, even in complete silence. It's when your energy walks in before you do. Think about it, there are men who look good on paper, men who have all the right lines, men who know how to flatter. But then there is that man, the one who doesn't rush, doesn't fidget, doesn't seek permission to exist in a space. He owns the air around him. When you carry yourself like that, a woman's senses react before her mind catches up. She feels something in the pit of her stomach, a stirring in her chest. She's not sure if it's excitement or curiosity, but she knows she wants more of it. Presence is an intimacy in itself. It's the first unspoken touch, a connection without fingers, the beginning of desire without a single kiss. It's when your eyes meet hers, not with hunger, but with a depth that makes her feel as if you see more than just her face, more than just her body. You see her. That single glance can travel further under her skin than the longest conversation. It's the unhurried way you hold that eye contact, not as if you're testing her, but as if you already know she's worth looking at. And here's where most men fail. They think presence is about performance. They think they need to pose, to project, to put on an act. But real presence isn't performance, it's control. Control over your body, your breathing, your mind. You move slower than the chaos around you. You take your space without apology. You speak only when you have something worth saying. Every action tells her you're not here to prove anything. You're here because you belong. The intimacy of presence lies in contrast. When she's surrounded by noise, your calm becomes the loudest thing in the room. When she's surrounded by men scrambling for her attention, your stillness feels like dominance. She begins to notice the way you lean back when others lean forward. She begins to feel the steady rhythm in your voice, the certainty in your silence, and slowly she starts to lean toward it, without even knowing why. Your presence is the energy she imagines even when you're gone. It lingers like a scent, like the warmth of a hand she can't forget. When you have mastered it, you no longer have to chase her thoughts, they return to you on their own. Because presence is a magnetic field, and she's already caught inside it. It's not just for the first meeting. In a relationship, presence is the difference between love that fades and desire that deepens. When you walk into a room she's in, even after years, she should still feel that shift in the air, the same electric pause she felt when you first locked eyes. The quiet awareness that something in her space has just changed. And that change is you. She can't hold it, she can't name it, but she feels it. And once a woman feels that level of presence, once she feels that current running between you, she doesn't forget. Desire is not born in the instant you give her what she wants. It grows in the spaces you leave empty. The most magnetic kind of intimacy isn't rushed, it's built in layers, in pauses, in the moments that make her wonder what's coming next. The art of erotic mystery is the ability to pull her closer without laying all your cards on the table. It's not withholding affection, it's creating an atmosphere where every touch, every word, every look feels earned. Think about the difference between a secret revealed too soon and one revealed at the perfect time. When you hand her everything up front, she might enjoy it in the moment, but the thrill fades quickly. But when you make her wait, when you allow her curiosity to stretch and her anticipation to build, her mind starts working in overdrive. She plays out scenarios. She imagines your next move. You've entered her thoughts in a way that simple attraction never could. Mystery and intimacy is not about being distant or cold, it's about being deliberate. It's how you let your eyes linger on hers just a second longer than usual before looking away. It's how you stand close enough for her to feel your warmth but not close enough to touch. It's how you let your words trail off at just the right moment, leaving her mind to fill in the silence with images she can't shake. That gap between what you show and what you hold back, that's where obsession lives. In a relationship, mystery keeps the fire alive long after the first spark. Too many couples lose this because they get too predictable. She knows exactly what you'll say, how you'll kiss, what you'll do. There's no edge, no surprise, no tension. But when you master erotic mystery, you can reignite her body and mind by making the familiar feel unpredictable again. Maybe it's the way you change your tone in the middle of a conversation. Maybe it's a sudden, intentional pause when she's expecting you to speak. Maybe it's showing up in a way she didn't plan for, subtle changes that make her eyes search you all over again. The truth is, a woman's desire thrives in her imagination. If you give her space to imagine, you give her space to crave. That's why the pause before a kiss can sometimes be more intoxicating than the kiss itself. That's why the moment your fingers hover just above her skin without touching can make her heart beat louder than any embrace. You are letting her feel you before she physically feels you. That's a power not every man knows how to wield. You create mystery when you speak with intention, when you reveal parts of yourself slowly, instead of all at once. A story told in chapters will always be more addictive than one dumped in a single page. Let her discover you piece by piece. Let her sense there's always something more beneath the surface. The thrill is in knowing that no matter how close she gets, there will always be another layer to uncover. This doesn't just ignite passion, it deepens connection, because when a woman feels she's earning each new layer of you, she values it more. She begins to lean in, to look for cues, to read your silences, and when she's doing that, you're already living inside her head. Confidence is the first touch that doesn't require skin. Before you say a word, before you lean in, before you even lock eyes, she feels it. Confidence is the silent signal that tells her she's in the presence of a man who knows himself. It's not arrogance, not the loud, showy kind that's designed to impress. Real confidence is quieter, heavier, and far more dangerous. It's the kind that lingers in the air like heat, the kind that makes her lean closer just to feel more of it. When a man moves with confidence, every step feels intentional. He doesn't rush toward her as if she's the prize he's desperate to win. He lets her feel that he is the prize. It's in the way he takes his time, pouring a drink, leaning against the wall, turning his head just enough to catch her watching him. That slow, deliberate control over himself makes her pulse change. She can't help but imagine what that control feels like when it's focused entirely on her. Confidence is foreplay because it sets the stage before the first touch. It's the steady way you hold eye contact, never flinching, never looking away too quickly. It's how your voice stays calm even when the topic heats up. It's how you take up your space, not with force, but with certainty. Women don't just hear confidence, they sense it in the rhythm of your breathing, the way you stand, the way you choose your words. In intimacy, confidence is the difference between a touch that feels accidental and a touch that feels inevitable. A man without confidence moves, like he's waiting for permission. A confident man moves, like the moment was already his. She feels it in how you approach her, not seeking validation but offering an experience. That shift in energy changes everything. Suddenly she's not deciding whether she wants you. She's already imagining what it will be like when she has you. Even in a relationship, confidence is what keeps desire alive. It's not about constantly proving yourself, it's about embodying a presence that makes her feel she's still with a man worth chasing. When you walk into a room, she should notice how you carry yourself, shoulders back, eyes steady, movements unhurried. The way you sit across from her at dinner, leaning in just enough to make her feel the pull, then leaning back to let her miss you in the very next breath. Confidence in intimacy also means you're comfortable with silence. You don't fill every pause with words out of nervousness. You let the space hang between you because you know tension builds in quiet, the kind of quiet where she starts imagining things you haven't even done yet, the kind of quiet that feels heavy, charged, almost impossible to ignore. She notices it when your hands are sure, when your voice doesn't tremble, when your movements are fluid and deliberate. You're not second-guessing yourself. You're not asking, is this okay? With your body language. You're telling her it's okay with every confident motion. And even when you're not touching her, that energy reaches her, curling around her thoughts, settling into her memory, making her body respond before she can think about why. When a man embodies this kind of confidence, intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts the moment he enters her space. Every look, every pause, every slow movement becomes part of the buildup. And the more she feels it, the more she wants to see just how deep that confidence goes. Attention is like fire. It can warm her or it can burn her. Most men throw it around like sparks, hoping one will catch, but the kind of attention that drives a woman wild is not scattered. It's precise, intentional, and rare. When you make your attention something she has to earn, every time you give it becomes unforgettable. It's not about ignoring her, it's about making her feel that when your focus lands on her, it's the most valuable thing in the room. Imagine this, you're in a crowded place, voices all around, movement everywhere, but your eyes find hers and hold for just a moment. You don't stare like a man desperate for her to notice. You let your gaze touch her like fingertips, then drift away as if you're in no rush. That moment stays with her because it wasn't constant, it was rare, and rarity creates value. Women feel the difference between attention that's free and attention that's earned. Free attention feels like background noise, always there, always available, always easy to get, but earned attention, that's intoxicating. It's the glass of aged wine she's been waiting to taste, not the tap water anyone can pour. When she knows you don't give your focus to everyone, it makes her crave it more, watch for it more, and work for it more. In intimacy, selective attention becomes even more powerful. When you're with her, you don't need to keep touching her every second to let her know you're present. Sometimes it's the way your hand rests near hers but doesn't move closer yet. Sometimes it's the way your voice softens only when you say her name. Sometimes it's the way you listen, not just to her words but to the quiet changes in her tone. Every time you shift your full awareness onto her, it's like a slow surge of electricity that starts low and rises. The truth is, too much attention too soon kills curiosity. If she knows you'll drop everything for her every second, she has nothing to wonder about. But when you balance your presence, when you give her moments of deep, undivided focus, followed by moments where you pull back, her mind starts chasing you. She begins to notice the times you aren't looking at her, the times you're focused on something else, and that absence makes her want your attention even more. Even in a long-term relationship, selective attention is the secret to keeping intimacy alive. You could be in the same room doing separate things, but then you look up and in that one glance you make her feel like she's the only woman in the world, not because you've been staring all night, but because that one look carries all the weight of your desire. It's not constant, but when it comes, it hits harder. Your attention should feel like an invitation she can't refuse, not something she can demand, but something you choose to give. That choice is what makes it powerful. When she realizes that your focus is not on her by default, but because you want it there, it turns every glance, every word, every slight touch into an intimate moment. She starts to watch you more carefully, waiting for the next time your eyes or your mind or your hands return to her. And once she's waiting, she's already thinking about you. Once she's thinking about you, she's already feeling you. Once she's feeling you, she's already in your orbit. Sometimes the most powerful pull you have on a woman isn't when you're in front of her, it's when you're not. Your absence, when it's wrapped in confidence and purpose, can be more seductive than any physical closeness. It's in those quiet gaps between moments that her mind begins to wander. She replays your words, your tone, your touch over and over. She begins to wonder what you're doing, where you are, and more importantly, who you might be with. That curiosity turns into a slow burn, and that slow burn is where obsession grows. Most men fear space because they think closeness means constant contact. But in truth, closeness becomes more valuable when it's not given endlessly. When you step back, not in coldness but in calm self-assurance, you give her room to miss you. Missing you isn't about longing for your physical body. It's about longing for the energy you bring, the way you make her feel, the way your presence changes the air around her. Think about the moments after an intimate night. You're not with her the next morning, but she's still feeling the echo of your touch. She smells your scent on her skin. She hears your voice in her head. She feels your weight in her memory. That is the power of the silent pull. You're still in the room, even when you're not. And when a man can make a woman feel him in his absence, he's already deep under her skin. In a relationship, the silent pull keeps her invested. It keeps her paying attention. When you're not always immediately available, she starts to lean into the moments you are. She values them more. Every time you leave, you create a little vacuum in her world, and that vacuum pulls her thoughts back toward you. It's not about playing games. It's about maintaining your individuality, your sense of purpose, your life beyond her. That's what makes your return feel like an event, not a routine. The silent pull is about contrast, when you've given her moments of deep, undivided attention, and then you're suddenly gone out living your life, focusing on your goals. That contrast sharpens her awareness of you. She starts noticing the way her body reacts when you come back into view. She starts to realize how much she looks forward to the sound of your voice, the feel of your hand, the heat of your gaze. Even without words, you can keep the connection alive in your absence. A subtle message at the right time. A memory you hint at without fully describing, a trace of your scent left behind. These are not constant signals, they're rare sparks that keep the flame alive. And because they're rare, she treasures them more. The most magnetic men understand that desire isn't fed only by presence, it's also fed by absence. When you step away with purpose, you give her space to imagine. And the truth is, her imagination will always create a more intoxicating version of you than constant reality ever could. In that imagination, she shapes you into her deepest want, her most personal craving, her most private fantasy. And once you're living there, she doesn't just want to see you, she needs to. She can close her eyes and still feel you. That's when you know your presence is more than just what she sees, it's the current running underneath every interaction. True intimacy isn't built only on words, gestures, or physical closeness. It's the unspoken energy that flows between you and her, the kind she can't explain but can't ignore. This energy isn't loud or desperate, it's deep, steady, and unshakable. When a man carries it, he becomes unforgettable, not because of what he does, but because of what she feels when he's near. Most men focus on external displays, how they look, what they say, how they act, but they forget that attraction starts from the inside out. A grounded man radiates a force she can sense even before he touches her. It's in the calm of his breathing, the certainty in his posture, the deliberate pace of his movements. This kind of energy doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It naturally draws her in, like gravity. She feels it when you walk into a room and the air shifts. She feels it when you look at her, not with shallow interest, but with a depth that tells her you're fully present. She feels it in the moments between words, when silence feels charged instead of empty. That's the difference between a man who takes up space and a man who fills it with something she craves. This unseen energy is what makes your touch linger in her body long after it's gone. When you place your hand on her lower back, it's not just contact, it's communication. Your touch says you're steady, you're in control, you know exactly what you're doing. And because it's backed by that grounded energy, she feels safe enough to open up, but intrigued enough to keep chasing more. In a relationship, this energy keeps passion alive because it doesn't fade with routine. Even after years together, she still notices the way her heart shifts when you enter the room. You could be doing something ordinary, pouring coffee, standing by the window reading, and yet she feels it, that invisible pull, that quiet confidence, that inner heat, the kind of energy that makes the everyday feel intimate. This isn't about faking dominance or forcing attention, it's about cultivating a state where you're fully rooted in yourself. You're not moved by insecurity or desperation. You're not grasping for her reaction. You're steady in your own skin, and that steadiness becomes intoxicating. When she leans against you, she's not just feeling your body, she's feeling the strength of someone who doesn't waver. Even without speaking, you can stir her emotions. The way you stand near her without rushing to touch. The way you let your eyes drift over her in a slow, deliberate way. The way you hold her gaze for a moment longer than expected, letting that silent tension build. These are the little sparks that come from an energy she can't name but doesn't want to lose. She may try to rationalize it, tell herself it's your confidence, your voice, your body language, but deep down she knows it's more than that. It's the way you make her feel in her own skin, the way you awaken her without even trying, the way your presence stays with her long after you've walked away. And when a man can do that, he doesn't just occupy her time, he lives in her thoughts, in her body, and in the quiet spaces she never shares with anyone else.